This episode of After Hours is presented by Equentia, the vertical news environment for individuals and corporate. Your content, your way. For more info, visit equentia.com.
I'm staring at my laptop screen, scrolling through the feed. I'm subscribed to 100 blogs, but there's still nothing to read.
Welcome everyone to this week's After Hours. I'm Kirsten Winkler and I'm the founder of EDUKWEST. First story here over at EDUKWEST. Let me tell you about Startup Weekend Edu in Seattle. So as you can see, live streaming today on Friday, September 30th at 6 p.m. Pacific time and 9 p.m. Eastern time. The first keynote and the startup pitches. Then the second live streaming on Sunday, October 2nd, 5 p.m. PT and 8 p.m. ET, the second keynote. First story dates back from last week but didn't make it in the after hours as it was too late. Ning got bought by Glam Media. Apparently not that much is going to change. Ning is continuing with the subscription models between $3 and $60 per month. They keep the educational Nings. Glam Media provides, of course, a very compelling advertising platform. So if you want to read more details, check out the Ning blog. There's no official press release, but the CEO blogged about this recent acquisition. Little update on my last week YouTube teachers after hours piece. I have activated Cosmic Panda, so this was the reason that there was not so much to see on the well-dedicated teacher solution of YouTube. So otherwise, there is stuff to check out, and so just go over to youtube.com/teachers. Now a few investment stories. So first comes off Atlanta-based startup Triplingo. If you remember, I did an EduQuest interview with the founder Jesse Maddox, and well, now I'm happy that they received investment by Atlanta Technology Angels. I think Triplingo are pursuing a pretty nice language learning business idea, and think the investment is well deserved. Good luck for them, and continue keeping up the good work. Next story is of Tycoon. They raised 1.4 million, and apparently investors are still willing to put their money into the fiscal responsibility education of kids. So the platform is all about that. I can remember at least one other startup that is pursuing a very similar idea, but good to know that we still get investment for those ideas. Right, then next is Wheels. Wheels is a social community car sharing platform on campus. So in this whole movement of sharing stuff, well, such as textbooks, and we all know that cars are expensive, especially when you're a student. Also for some people probably with higher like ecological responsibility, I think that is a pretty nice idea. Good, let's go over to the next story from Oclair Library. They have had the idea to lend iPads, and I mean the iPad is definitely the tablet device out there, and people who want to check it out, but maybe not buy an iPad themselves, or maybe who cannot afford an iPad themselves, well, they can lend it for $25. Just be sure that you bring it back on time. Otherwise, you have to purchase from Oclair Library. Next one is a big technology but related to academia or education story, because the biggest cloud storage system with 5.5 petabytes was just launched over in San Diego, and the Supercomputer Center. I mean, it's sort of logic, or the logic next step, as more and more services, if you, for example, think of researcher document sharing and storage platform Mendeley, well, they get pretty data intense. And I mean, Mendeley is not the only service. There are many data-intense education services out there. So I think we need such a dedicated supercomputer center for academia and education. So next story is about Encyclopedia Britannica, and well, they now launched a new version, so it's available for the iPad. You have different options actually for those who still want to have the nice traditional dead wood version for $1,400 on their shelves. Can do so. Then there is a $70 web version available. If you purchase this web version, you get the iPad version for free at no extra cost. So I wonder if you pay for the $1,400 version if you get the web version and the iPad app included. So, but apparently they are going with the times, and that's something nice. Quick news and update from Khan Academy. Khan says they may get to the 40 million students in 2012. I'm sure as soon as they will hit this number, we are going to hear about that. Right, now something about social responsibility. So, new website lets you calculate how many slaves you have in your household. The site goes pretty granular, so you can put down in detail what you eat, and so whether it is meat, legume, other vegetables, fruit, and so on. So it really goes pretty granular. There are, however, a few things I think need to be improved. So, for example, there is no possibility for me to put in if I buy local, if I buy free range, and so on. So if they go that granular with what I eat, or also what kind of makeup I have on my shelf, there should be the possibility to put down in detail as well how responsible I am with buying organic or local and so on. But in general, I think a valid approach, and yeah, you should check this out. It's pretty disturbing. Okay, now a story for those of you interested in history. And to be fair, it's not the very first story I'm hearing about this. So there are at least 2 people tweeting the American Civil War on Twitter, and now an ex-history student has started tweeting about World War II on Twitter. I think here could be actually an interesting case for education in general. I could imagine Twitter having some justification and interesting, potentially interesting use cases for classroom tweeting. So make a class project out of it, and yeah, bring history to life. Next story is relates to the controversy that raised when Yahoo decided to close GeoCities, and many people went over and tried to save as much of GeoCities as possible. And now we have the so-called deleted city, so it visualizes what GeoCity was all about. And well, if we put it in the bigger picture, we of course have to be, I think, as a society, become somewhat sensitive when we put more and more of our data and information out there on the internet only, and not having it in traditional formats like on paper, to what happens when actually a site belongs to a company, and that company then simply takes the decision for whatsoever reason to shut the service down. So what happens with our data? And the last story for this week's After Hours came to me thanks to my friend Arnold Waldstein, and well, he knows that I'm pretty much in languages, and forwarded me this very interesting article about why some languages sound so much faster than others. And yeah, they really break it down into some very nice experiments. At the end, I can assure you that any language transmits more or less the same amount of information in the same time, but it's interesting why we receive some languages faster than others. And okay, that's it again for this week's After Hours. I hope you found some informative stories that unfortunately didn't make it into an EDUKWEST article, and that you like the format. Feedback is always welcome. See you next week, and that's it. Bye bye.
I'm staring at my laptop screen, scrolling through the feed. I'm subscribed to 100 blogs, but there's still nothing to